Baku speaking. Hello dear listeners, you are tuned into Azerbaijan International Radio. We are starting our English broadcast from the capital Baku. We welcome you to our analytic program. I'm your host Elçin Mirzaev. Towards a New World Order. On April 9th, our capital Baku hosted yet another international event, the 7th ADA Political Forum dedicated to the theme Towards a New World Order. President of Azerbaijan Ilham Aliyev participated in this forum and delivered a comprehensive speech. During his address at the international forum titled Towards a New World Order, held at ADA University, President Ilham Aliyev stated, "Following the liberation of Azerbaijan's historical territories, visits by experts to these areas provide greater insight into the history of the conflict, our country's reality, and the current situation in Azerbaijan." In his speech at the International Forum, the head of state placed particular emphasis on relations with neighboring Armenia. He highlighted that despite the existence of all necessary opportunities, Armenia's actions have hindered the development of the South Caucasus region. Today, the transportation of oil, gas, and other goods from Azerbaijan passes through Georgia's territory, and Armenia could have been a part of this process. However, this is Armenia's own miscalculation. They misjudged their future development, and as a result, deprived themselves of their economic future. It was specifically noted that if an agreement is signed between Armenia and Azerbaijan, it could mark the beginning of cooperation. The president stated, "I believe we must not waste time. When it comes to the peace agreement, the ball is in Armenia's court, and I have said this many times." Azerbaijan's main expectation from Armenia today is recognition of this territorial integrity and the removal of territorial claims from Armenia's constitution. If these are fulfilled, a peace agreement can be signed, and thus there will be no obstacles left to creating an integrated region in the South Caucasus. During his speech at ADA University, President Ilham Aliyev said, "However, speaking realistically, this does not mean we will immediately become friends with Armenia. It's too early to talk about economic integration here, but by taking small steps, we can start building trust." He added that recent initiatives have been proposed in this regard, and Azerbaijan is now awaiting Armenia's position, stressing that the development of the post-war situation in the region now largely depends on Armenia. President Ilham Aliyev stated, "The way the post-war situation develops mainly depends on Armenia. We have done everything fully within our legal rights. We have restored our territorial integrity and sovereignty, ended separatism, and brought our borders under control. For us, this issue is resolved. However, this doesn't mean we will ignore potential threats and dangers. We must always be ready to respond to them. That's why we continue to invest heavily in army building. This is not because we are planning any so-called aggression. It is so that we are capable of defending ourselves as victims of aggression and punishing Armenia if it ever decides to harm us again." During his speech at the International Forum, President Ilham Aliyev also touched on the relations between brotherly Turkey and friendly Israel, relations that are of significant importance for our region. He noted that Azerbaijan played a mediating role in the first reconciliation between Turkey and Israel. By actively contributing to this process, our country helped bring the positions of the two nations closer together. The president emphasized that both countries are close friends of Azerbaijan. He added, "We are allied with Turkey. We signed the Shusha Declaration in 2021, officially becoming allies. Israel is also a friendly country to Azerbaijan." President Ilham Aliyev stressed, adding that this mutual friendship has been proven over many years, even if difficult situations. Therefore, any misunderstanding between these two countries is a matter of concern for us. Under the leadership of President Ilham Aliyev, the victorious Commander-in-Chief, Azerbaijan's consistent and progressive policy to turn the South Caucasus into a region of peace and cooperation following its victory in the patriotic war has attracted the attention of the international community. Despite various negative processes occurring worldwide and in the region, Azerbaijan's comprehensive and dynamic development, supported by an independent multi-vector foreign policy based on national interests, has ensured its continued status as a developed country in the South Caucasus region. Azerbaijan is a key link in the Asian Development Bank's energy supply chain. The Asian Development Bank is ready to support the expansion of cooperation with both Azerbaijan and the broader geography of Asia and Europe in order to build a safe and efficient energy supply chain that can be a great legacy for future generations. At the ministerial meetings held in Baku within the framework of the Southern Gas Corridor and Green Energy Advisory Council's Director of the ADB Energy Sector Department, Junior Huan, stated that the institution he represents bases its energy policy on principles of delivering reliable, affordable, and sustainable energy while strictly adhering to environmental standards. According to him, in the context of climate change and global geopolitical shifts, prioritizing energy security, not just for individual countries but for the entire region, has become more important than ever. This forms the foundation for sustainable economic development. In the current climate of ongoing uncertainty, the significance of the Southern Gas Corridor stands out. This corridor plays a vital role as a strategic route to enhance and diversify the energy market's resilience. The ADB's Department Director emphasized that the financial institution he represents has long been a reliable partner of the Southern Gas Corridor. Speaking about the effective cooperation between Azerbaijan and the Asian Development Bank, it should also be noted that the investments allocated by the bank have primarily focused on infrastructure. In an interview with Azerbaijani media, ADB's country director for Azerbaijan, Sunniya Durrani Jamal, said, "Since the inception of the partnership between Azerbaijan and the Asian Development Bank, more than $5 billion has been allocated by the financial institution to support the country's sustainable development. These investments have been primarily directed toward the government's priority sectors, including energy, transport, water supply, and other urban services." According to the ADB country director, over the past 3 years, ADB has actively supported Azerbaijan's programs in the green energy sector and has participated in the co-financing of major solar power plants. The Garadagh solar power plant was ADB's first green energy project in the country and was commissioned in the fall of 2023. In November of last year, during COP29, ADB increased its investments in the renewable energy sector and began partnerships with Masdar and Sokak Green. Within this partnership framework, a $160 million agreement was signed. In addition, the Asian Development Bank has allocated $171.5 million for the development of railway transport in Azerbaijan. A large portion of this amount was directed toward the modernization of the main railway line, while the remainder was allocated for the digitalization. A large portion of this amount was directed toward the modernization of the main railway line, while the remainder was allocated for the digitalization of operations.